we're jumping into the game regardless, so you are spared of watching me cough. Yeah, MMA really dominated him in the last game with the drop play. He had drops going on everywhere. At the third, at the fourth, the natural in the main base. He abused those high and low ground mechanics to his advantage. Was really well executed. And now our Terran player with the 1-0 lead starts at the top right of Daybreak. We have Acer's MMA in blue, and at the bottom left starts his opponent, Nerchio, starting for the same team, the player from Poland.
Yep.
And, well, he might actually be, if he loses this map, if he loses on Daybreak, then Nerchio will be taking 4th place in the group. Exactly opposite from what I thought would happen.
Yeah, I thought Nerchio would have a really good chance in this group, but I feel like he's kind of drawn the short end of the stick with some of the games he's played in this group so far. And MMA definitely not having the easiest time either, but taking that last game to make him feel a lot better. And he's just going to continue to scout well, I think, in this series and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, leave any openings.
Yeah, MMA is definitely... He's hitting his timings better. He's playing a lot better than in the series that he played against Ghost, who's against... At least when we just watched game number 1, where he sort of dominated Nerchio after this opening. On the other hand, Nerchio, I feel, showed him a bit too early what he was doing. This game might be very different. This is Daybreak. This is not Abyssal City. It's a very old map that has been around for ages and therefore very well known to both players. But we have the same opening that we saw on map number 1. Hatch first versus, of course, the command center first.
Yep. MMA going CC first in almost every single game in this tournament, if not every single game, in fact. And just being very, very economically focused, and oftentimes even going for a fast third command center. He's also been going mech really often, and I wonder if that's something we might see on Daybreak. Mech is not the composition you see on Daybreak most of the time, but it's certainly possible.
Color tried to be smart, by the way. Walked away for like 5 seconds to open the window, comes back and hits his toe at the chair. That was not really...
I know how that is, man. That sucks. Let's just be honest for a second. That sucks.
There's only one thing that's worse. That's when you hit your knee, like really properly. Well, anyways, nothing happened except for me mutilating myself. Currently in the main base of MMA, we have 1 gas, not the second gas just yet. Which is a little bit... I know, if you have a Terran player, quite often you see the double gas right after he starts his expansion if you want to go for a safe build and have your tech ready so that even a Roach Baneling attack cannot take you down easily. But yeah, MMA has shown the tendency to go for a very early third command center, wants to play with the third mule and have the option to take an early third if need be.
I think we're going to see that again. He'll drop his factory very soon, there it is. And...
he has to make the decision now if he wants to have the second gas. There it is.
Yeah, he's going to go for second gas just a little bit later.
Starport for the Banshees. At least the potential of Banshees. And for Nerchio, standard, passive, Zerg style. 2 bases so far. Extra queens. No gas.
No gas whatsoever.
Third base probably coming up now.
Yep. There it is. Yep. Very unlike last game where he took a fast gas and tried to be a little more aggressive with it.
The Overlords are also in position for Nurture right now. 2 of them at the right side of the map. He didn't send any to the top, so depending on what kind of path MMA will choose later for his drop play, he might not be able to spot them unless he positions a few Overlords in the area. But MMA has also shown that he really likes to get one Viking out. And with just 1 of them, he can do so much. If you can take down all of these Overlords that are hovering on the map, you not only supply block your opponent, you make sure that he has to invent additional additional minerals and lava, and you can make sure that he doesn't have those scouting information.
We have a bunker at the third base though, and this can get really intense. He does see it though. This is something that everybody needs to check for. Every good Zerg player will check for this. With the Queen here and the 2 Lings, I think you should be fine. Yeah. As long as he targets the SCV, and he does, now he's going to have to cancel that.
The double Queen puts an end to this. It was a cute idea and it might have worked, but then Nerchio is ready, takes this down, and he once more decides to go straight into the tech for Lair. This time he's actually going into the Letic before he goes for the speed.
Yep, and this is going to allow him to deal with the Banshees really,
Yeah.
really easily.
That tag, of course, is a little bit later than you would have seen it on map number 1 because he builds it on 3 bases and not on 2.
Yep.
A little bit later in general, but delays his speed because of it. Banshees with Poke are going to be the follow-up for MMA.
Yeah, this is going to be something that lends itself more towards mech play later on as well. So MMA, he's either going to add a few barracks with this third command center he's adding right now, or he's going to make some more factories, and starting to look more and more like the factory choice.
Yeah. He's getting additional gas now,
Yeah.
and we don't see any. There's the first engineering bay. Let's see if he actually adds
He
a
went double
second one.
eBay.
Double eBay, so it looks like he's going for the bio play after all.
Yeah, just sticking with a safer, more standard style. Hellions are here ready to do something. They're a little bit neglected though.
We have the Infestation Pit for Nerchio, so this time no Spire attack. Infestation Pit instead. And the first few Spore Crawlers. The Banshees, are they actually already in the game? I didn't see any at the front.
They're flying
that's
in
the
now.
first one.
Yep.
First one is flying into position. Spotted by an Overlord already.
Spore Crawler already going up.
Yeah.
Should be up just in time. He's gonna lose maybe 3 Harvesters here.
The Queen is there. The Scout 2 could go for the Overseer now. Doesn't do it yet. 5 kills.
Yeah, a little bit more than I expected. Now he's gonna be thwarted.
Just outside of the range. And
6
another
kills.
kill. 6 already. That Banshee is worth it.
At the third base, Hellions are coming in.
But just trying to go in and immediately being repelled by the 2 queens. Just poking every now and then and seeing if they have an opening here.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Trying to use the edges of the Spore Crawler range to maybe get a position where he can kill another probe. Another drone. Well done. 7 kills.
7 kills, and now without any Mutalisk, the Banshee can actually just hang out here in space without any problem.
Yeah.
Infestors aren't going to kill it, Queens aren't going to kill it. She's just going to float around and come back later to be annoying.
So far so good by MMA. +1/+1 and Siege mode and Stim being researched for him. He's on 3 bases. That's where you want to be. A really nice opening for MMA here, for both players actually, but for MMA it's just this third base that he has without being pressured too much. Nerchio, he does not really know about the space. He has now vision of the SCVs at the bottom, so that's the only thing that he sees, but he didn't really have the time to send Zerglings over. Now he's building a lot of them, and also the Infestors, maybe trying to be aggressive here, sending actually a small force to the bottom right.
Yep. And here come those Lings right into the mineral line. He will actually be able to repel this with the Hellions, but they're going to come back into the natural and be chased down there as well. The Infestor count is starting to get a little bit higher. He's actually going up to 9. And with that many Infestors, he should easily be able to take his 4th base. He's taking a macro hatch right now as well. The Lings actually somehow got into the main base and
Get the scouting information and kill one SCV.
and very heavily annoyed that building supply depot.
Yeah. But here comes the second attack, and now those Hellions are of course out of position, and ooh la la, that does a lot of damage. He gets out with most of them, with quite a lot. How many Harvesters could he kill? 14 in total.
That was very much more serious than we saw there. But 69 to 61 drones versus SCVs, and still no hatchery started at the 4th. I think it's time to start that. He's got Hive on the way, but could easily start the hatchery, and now he's got that. You can see the silhouette there.
Yeah, he's going to do it right now. Hive tech is now coming up. +2 attack has been started. And if you could just look at MMA, we have him now on those Marines with, well, actually, to be honest with you, we have, well, those Marines. They are hiding, they're completely eluding me. There they are. 1/1 upgrades. Armory was not done for a long time, which is why he didn't start +2/+2. Just finished a few seconds ago.
Yeah, he starts +1 for vehicle weapons. Now starts +2 weapons, and armor started now as well.
Combat shield is nearly finished, and this opens up like all these timings right now. But also for Nerchio, who uses those Infestors to reinforce the Zerglings.
This is a pretty big attack with Infestors. You normally see this in Zerg versus Protoss, not so much in this matchup. He actually grabs a ton of those SCVs in the bundle. This is a ton of damage being done.
He needs to be careful that those Infestors are able to retreat. But that was just a quick poke for him.
Yep.
That's once again what Nerchio just sometimes does. Move in, do damage, move back. It's similar to Terran players in a matchup against Protoss with the Stimp Marines taking down a base.
Yep. This command center is going to take a ton of damage. He actually could drop a second wave of Infested Terrans to try to finish it off, but it looks like he's just going to play safe here.
Yeah, this is not gonna die. He's moving back. Can he save all of his units? He's actually committing with the second wave of Zerglings rushing in. He drops the Fungals, forces those Marines in an awkward spot. The Siege Tank could have been killed, but he decides to move back. One of the Infestors goes down. A Fungal saves the ass of the second one.
Yeah, Adrenal Glands, by the way, is on the way. Not skipping that upgrade and going right into Ultras, as we've seen before. 3-3 upgrades, though, ahead for NERCHIO. Starts +3 for his Lings right now. His Carapace, though, is a little bit behind. He's actually just starting +2.
I'm not a huge fan of Ultralists on Daybreak, but if you get good engagements and good surface area, NERCHIO might be able to make this work. But it's just very difficult if the Talon player has good positioning, because on a map like Daybreak there are so many corners and high ground positions where siege tanks can be hidden on a high ground around the corner, where the Ultralists will just queue up and walk in a line instead of attack together. So it's really difficult to make those Ultralists work on this map. It's not impossible, but it's definitely a little bit easier to maneuver with Broodlords.
Going through that choke point in the middle of the map is so difficult as well, if the Terran player controls it. And I feel like NERCHIO got his 4th base a little bit late, but now he's reaping the benefits of it. However, MMA's position here is quite scary, and this army, this maxed out NERCHIO, is mostly Lings right now against a really nice composition of siege tanks and marines that are heavily upgraded from MMA. Banshee from earlier finally gets taken out, not really doing any extra damage in the main.
Talking about maxed out stuff, we actually have Adrenal Glands ready, and +2/+2, +3 attack, +2 armor, and everything now being researched. So he really wants to go for the max amount of upgrades here. And MMA, we've seen this in all the games that he played, that he really pays attention to detail, to his upgrades. He needs those, and that's what he does. And oh my god, NERCHIO, what did you do?
I don't know what was up with that. He lost 3 Infestors without dropping a single Fungal. Now the Lings are pathing a little bit awkwardly. He's going to lose several of those. NERCHIO immediately remaking them, but that was a lot of Ling supply lost.
Yeah, he has the 4 bases that really help him. And this one Viking is still trying to hunt down Overlords, but the Queen putting an end to it. Now we have the engagement, and this is a great position for NERCHIO with Ultralists. If you get this much surface area, they are pillion. Not even the siege tanks are sieged up, and MMA's force is getting crushed here in an instant. Really well done, a lot of damage, nice support with the Infestors. That was a great fight for NERCHIO.
Yeah. He may actually save all the Ultras as well. That one is low on hit points, but looks like he will be able to save it.
A drop in the main base took down the spawning pool and apparently also the Ultralisk cavern.
We've seen some players in this group make double Ultralisk caverns, but
NERCHIO actually rebuilds not only the spawning pool, but builds a second one too. Double spawning pool. Yeah, why not? It's just minerals, and minerals is one of the things that he has plenty of.
Best to make a Bailey Nest as well, just to be safe here. And the Ultras count is starting to get a little bit higher. He's going up to 11. And the +3 Carapace is now on the way, so he's actually going to be ahead in upgrades for a really long time. Until MMA's +3 armor finishes.
There was a group of Marines at the bottom that looked a little bit silly. They stimmed, ran like half a screen in, then back, didn't do anything, just got healed by the medivacs, run in the circle with stim. That's all that they did. Now getting into the main base. Oh, the Infestors!
Oh,
that was more than close.
But there's a Spore Crawler and a few Ultras should easily be able to stop this in the main. If he doesn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, he's gonna get a Roach Warren, which is not too useful.
That drop is gonna take down a lot though if he's not careful, and right now he is. There's a huge attack now at the 3rd base of MMA. NERCHIO running in with those Lings and also a couple of the Ultralists, but the drop on the main base is still going strong and he's losing more and more. The Spore Crawler is gone. The Mac perhaps is also gone. NERCHIO is still attacking at the 3rd base of MMA, but at the same time these guys in the main base doing a lot of damage, and as soon as the Ultralists arrive, they just move back.
Yep, and he was able to trade a lot of great I mean, that was a great trade against the Lings that came to defend. He got a pretty good trade there. Infestor's trying to burrow and escape, potentially even run in here and drop some Infested Terrans though to initiate the fight. Is he actually just going to go for like a James Bond mission?
Maybe to catch him here at the ramp. But yeah, the second attack once again coming in. He can actually now just fungal at the red. He has the units in, and if those drop out, and yep, there we go. Trying to go for the fungal, blocking the units on the low ground.
Though, and now the Ultras have to figure out how to get out of here, but he's done a lot of damage. He's also forced that lift on that third command center for so long now.
Another infested eyes, a beautiful
wow.
fungal goes off. Still the drop in the main base of Nerchio, not doing any damage anymore after it finally was cleaned up. Base to the top left, built for the Zerg player, and he at the same time attacks the fourth of his opponent, and good fungal onto the SCVs.
He needs another one to finish them off, and he can't quite get it.
But he takes down the base. Both of them just getting hit after hit after hit. Nerchio is just really going at it now.
Yeah, Nerchio's got a great economy compared to MMA at this point. MMA having to lift, then losing a command center. Just even though he's playing more cost efficiently, he's gonna eventually run out of steam, run out of economy if he can't take a big fight.
Yep, Zerglings borrowed at the third base of MMA, but the Terran player is into under supply and he moves in. And there are a lot of Ultralists, and now only half of them are fighting.
Yep. And a ton of them going down. This is why you said earlier you don't really like Ultras in this map. It's tough to actually make them work.
I feel that Nerchio got the best engagement that he could with those, so I really like how he plays with them on this map. He plays a lot better than most Zerg players that I've seen with Ultralists on Daybreak. But still, the problem that he had in the last fight was that several of these guys were just in the back not doing anything. But he has the supply lead. He's on 170 against 160 now. We have him with very late Baneling speed. He didn't need it so far. He didn't use Banelings. 5 bases. And, well, MMA also with 5 orbital commands, but he's not using all of them on mineral lines.
Yeah, very true. He's got a lot of mules he can drop with those, but he needs to actually re-land his base to the bottom right. He's going to clean up those lanes. I think he's doing it now. And yeah, he cleans them up. He's adding 2 bunkers there just in case that happens again in the future. Another drop going to the north where you can run in, try to snipe workers, or also just try to go for the hatchery with his +3 upgrades on these Marines. There's no spine crawlers here to defend, and he's actually just going to go into it. These spine crawlers being started at the worst possible moment. It's actually going to be a lot of resources lost. He can't even cancel fast enough. That was so terrible timing. That's a lot of resources. That, you know, that 4 spine crawlers that were not canceled that died instantly basically just gave 400 minerals away instantly, as well as 4 drones, and then a few drones were down and MMA got away.
That's
that
just
was terrible.
Bad timing. That's not even a mistake or anything. It's just very, very unlucky for Nerchio. And now Spire Tech, a transition for the Zerg player, trying to go into Spire, into Broodlords later on, into another option to force MMA into submission. Both of them with a great game so far. Nerchio still with a lot of bank, and now opening up this path in the middle of the map, trying to, and then suddenly this drop completely distracts him, kills one of the spawning pools. Thank God he built 2 earlier.
Yeah, he's pretty smart for that. The Ultras Cavern, though, does not have a terrible turn. Will he actually be able to knock it down? No. Just barely not. Double command center on the way for MMA, who's adding still now more Marauders and also getting additional siege tanks.
And the one thing that MMA does not really have is
Vikings.
Yeah.
And 12 Corruptors are coming out here with the Greater Spire.
The Greater Spire is something that he has not seen yet. He doesn't know there's a Spire. MMA, of course, that is. But yeah, if he can blindside it, and if Nerchio can actually surprise MMA with this, things are gonna get nasty. 2 additional command centers in the middle of the map are now being built. I guess we're having a few planetary fortresses coming in very soon.
I think he would have wished, though, that he was building the infrastructure for Vikings now instead of sinking those resources into command centers, because he does start +1 and building armor and high sec auto tracking, so he may just be actually going for everything at this point.
Ah,
now he sees the Corruptors, and now he's going to add additional starports right away.
There they are. 2 additional starports, +1 attack had already been started earlier. So he prepares for all the eventualities, and we kind of start to end up in this split map situation that we see on Daybreak.
Yeah. And now the rocks are, I mean, you can see the rocks are almost dead. MMA is moving in slowly but steadily here. Run by, shut down by a bunker, but MMA has to be so careful with how he moves forward, because one mistake and all those lings are going to surround him.
Oh, wow.
Bad pathing problems here, though, for Nerchio.
Oh my god, Nerchio just really bullying his way through the entire force of MMA's army. Good fungals, a few Banelings in the mix as well. Only Ultralists left at this point, and they are trying to force the rest of MMA's army to retreat. And they are successful, but the Terran player drops again, this time at the top left, and is able to take down this 5th base. every single time. MMA is just amazing with his drop play today. This is insanity.
Yeah, he's just so on top of everything, and he's also canceled high psych auto tracking, but his remaxing is with better units. I feel his composition has more variety. I mean, if you just look at the production tab, you can see an insane difference in what is being made exactly. Pole position micro here on the links to try to save them and make them as useful as possible against those SCVs.
Another SCV run by hitting the third base right now. Third and fifth of MMA both being attacked. SCVs being killed left, right, bottom, and center. Nerchio took down 42 in total already, and the number is just decreasing. 31 drone kills on the other hand by MMA. Both of them really out for their opponent's economy.
Yeah, that one Ling is doing so much damage at the third base. Finally cleaned up.
That was about time. It was just outside the range of the bunker.
Now Nerchio is starting to feel a little bit of the pressure here. He's got a lot of gas banked up, but the resources he has in minerals are not very much. He needs to hold these bases. He's got a great army, and that's exactly what he can use to hold on to the hatch. But he's got to make sure his army is close by, ready to defend at any moment, because MMA is one of the best droppers out there.
Yeah, and the big problem for Nerchio, really, as you already mentioned, is that he's starting to run a little bit low on minerals. He has the gas, that's everything that he has on his bank, but minerals are kind of getting a little bit scarce here. He has another base that he built now in the middle, but this has also already been seen by MMA. MMA this time doesn't really have the bank to use nukes. I feel if he would have had the resources, he would build nukes right now, because this is one of the positions that you can comfortably nuke from your main base.
Yep, that's very true. And he probably would definitely be all over that. Like you said, if he had the resources, he needs a bank. Both players want to build a bank right now, but because we've had so much action and so much attacking, both players have kind of hovered around 130 to 150 supply, and they're constantly having to spend all the resources to remax rather than starting to build a bank. No banks, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. We are 30 minutes into the game and we have 30,000 against 34,000 resources lost. So a lot of fighting going on here in this match. And now, just the ahead scans of MMA. He wants to know about the position, and he needs to get in there.
That was also such a good scan. Oh my god.
He's the burrow bailing, which is of course really important. But
that was so lucky.
God.
He was scanning just to see if the army was there, not to see if there were banelings there. That could have been horrible.
Yep. One bailing, well, of course, with all the upgrades, but still. And here come the first few Broodlords. We have a few Vikings roaming the map and clearing Overlords. And now here come the Medivacs. Oh my god, what a perfect timing for Nerchio. He saw them, double fungal, and that was beautiful. A double Medivac shot down without any damage done at all by MMA.
Yeah, that's a huge sink of resources. It's going to take them a lot to rebuild those. 200 gas in Medivacs, as well as all the Marines inside that he lost. MMA is really struggling to actually take this base out to the north. He can't really figure out how to move forward, and that's a base that he's missing. He doesn't have the same expansion on the other side of the map, so he needs to do something about this. He has so many different commanders he can float over there, but until he actually does it, he's going to be in trouble, and that Baneling killed rocks.
Yeah, in the middle of the map, Ultralisk and a Baneling took down the rocks. The Baneling sacrificed its life. But
this is a problem.
Doom drop headed towards the main base of Nerchio. A big drop with 3 Medivacs. Yeah, well, good luck to Infestors, but that's not gonna work. No. Even there are siege tanks in there, right? No.
Nah, just Marauders. A lot of them, though.
Yeah.
And with Marauders of that many, you can actually target down the Hive. And he's sending units into the natural to try to get the tech as well. So with no Hive and no tech, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. But his attack is scary. This is the first glimpse of Broodlords we've really had in this game, with the Ultralisk on the ground trying to find an opening.
At the fourth base of MMA, we now have the big fight going on. Nerchio is dropping in supply fast here, though. In the main base, everything is just gone. The Hive is gone, his tech is gone. Everything just dies. And MMA, he defends his base so far pretty darn well. He might lose this command center, but this is not going to be a big issue for him. There are 4 command centers around the first one, and MMA is just now rebuilding his entire army. Even giving up this one base is not going to be a problem for him.
Yep, Ultralisk on the way, but you know, is that really what he wants against the composition he's facing? MMA just ignores those infested Terrans. The infestation pit is even vulnerable at this point.
The tech is done, the spawning pool is being rebuilt, Ultralisk cavern is also gone, and Nerchio has to walk back. He has to fall back now. Wasn't even able to kill this expansion. Didn't have mattered all too much anyways, because the Vespene Geyser is depleted. Mineral patches are long gone, but now MMA charges after Nerchio takes a few stray units down. and suddenly the Zerg player is 50 supply down in this game.
Oh, and this is a great position to have at the top of the ramp against Ultras trying to break up. Yeah, he did end up killing the army with that good fungal, but he lost an Ultras in the process. And MMA, I'm a little bit surprised he's not going for that north hatchery now that it's so exposed, now that he knows he's got that army lead. He wants to actually just try to end the game instead. That fungal hit a ton of medevacs with the army underneath them. That's the bigger problem right now.
There are just so many units for MMA, so much DPS for the Terran player. He retreats again, trying to find these positions in the map where he can just go around the corner, and he gets so many free hits because the Zerg units are lining up, they are not ranged, and MMA is just using positioning to his advantage like a boss.
Yep, just great positioning here behind the minerals. Now he can actually trade so efficiently against those lings, and Nerchio looking a little bit weak here. He doesn't have enough Brood Lords to actually support against these Marines. Now more Marines running, he's going to kill the Brood Lords.
It's also that he just can't use those Corruptors at this point. 6 medivacs at a time are now being built, the space goes down, and Nerchio is starting to run out of resources. He's down to 85 supply against 150 at the bottom of the map. Look at that, we have still a new base for MMA, and his income is insane.
He just dropped all those mules, his economy is insane. He's got all the cards now, and yeah, of course he has to lift for a second here, but he can actually just go and kill these lings with his army, lower the command center again, walk across the map and kill his opponent, who's just desperately trying to get banelings out in order to hold on a little bit longer in this game, maybe have some sort of hope of actually making it to that consolation match. But looks like it's going to be MMA as the one Acer player to advance here. He's just got too much of a lead. He killed the hatchery in the north. He's not done yet. He's actually still mining from that base to the left side, which is being attacked by Zerglings once more. But MMA is going to clean it up. And Nerchio just does not have enough of any type of unit to really hold on here. He doesn't have any infestors. He only has one Broodlord, no Ultras. All he's relying on is Banelings.
Zerglings are... Wow, the command center, it dies, just burns down. And Zerglings are the one thing that Nerchio tries to rely on right now. He's building 30 additional ones. He will go up to 70, but the thing is, against Medivacs and against this many, he does not stand a chance with pure Zerglings. He's trying, he has a few Banelings in there, but here comes the fight, here comes the spread. MMA with much more supply, takes down the Banelings, takes down the Zerglings, a few of them still trying to fight, but this has to be it. This is game, this is MMA advancing. GG, and well, Nerchio is out of the group, out of IronSquid, and MMA advances to meet Genius in the consolation match.